Basically infatuated with the in-between, the ups and downs, the curves and the rounds. I'll bring it to your city or your hometown. I'll go back in time when the feeling was fine, when funkin' was legal and it wasn't a crime. Party people lined up and down the way, a bigger celebration of birthday. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt cool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt cool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. And I have seen the world pristine, funk you up in the bushes, funk you down in the trees. Now look around, all the frowns, the yellow, the white, the red and the brown. Now keep in mind, it never costs a dime, funkin' is free, I remember the time. Now look today, the streets are gray, time to take it back to yesterday. Funkin' in the neighborhood, I felt the fool cause the funk was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool cause the funk was good. It was good in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And we're live!
And we're back.
Welcome to the Underdog Journey. I'm West. This guy is David. And between the two of us, one of us might have an internet connection. So if we chop out, I apologize to everybody watching and listening. Unfortunately, Skype keeps putting out updates. And every time they put out an update, it makes all of this much more difficult and makes it choppy and laggy and just a terrible connection. So Skype, thank you for this. This is wonderful.
It never does seem to actually improve anything.
Not even remotely. It
doesn't seem to improve anything.
No, I think all it is somebody's trying to justify their existence at a company, so they push out these huge updates, and it just makes things slower and worse. It's not a bandwidth problem. It's a Skype problem. So thank you, Skype. I appreciate it. A little rant there. I apologize.
So on next week's show, alternatives to Skype for your podcast use.
Well, see here.
Wait, are you drinking coffee?
Well, see, I thought here's the thing. So I thought that I should look more professional doing this thing. So as any true professional, working any true professional job, I decided to drink my bourbon out of a coffee cup. So I seem more serious about my job, see.
Oh, hold up. What?
Completely frozen, and we can't hear you.
Okay, I'm completely frozen, and they can't hear me or him.
I can hear Wes just fine.
They can hear you, they can't hear me.
Well, you are completely frozen on my screen here. However, I still see your audio coming through just fine. So apparently if somebody's telling us on Facebook they can't hear you, how about this? David, you drop off of Skype and then rejoin this call, and I'll add you up. I don't know if you heard me or not, but that's probably what's going to happen. So I think David just dropped out of Skype, and we are going to add him back as soon as he comes back online. So thank you, Skype, for this amazing update. I am really glad that somebody high up in your company decided that they needed to make a name for themselves and push out an update like this. This is fantastic. The fact that I'm coming through just fine and streaming into Facebook and YouTube just fine tells me it's probably not a bandwidth issue. It's probably a Skype issue. So it is what it is. And if David doesn't rejoin, you're going to have to deal with me, people. I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. But as I was saying, I decided, since I want to look professional, right? I want to look like a guy who you can go to for any answer. And to do so, I decided to drink my bourbon like any real professional, like any real Don Draper, out of a coffee mug. This probably means I'm either looking more professional or more like an alcoholic. I'll let you decide. And we'll just make do until David gets back. Like any true professional, I'm drinking bourbon. Today I'm drinking Ohio bourbon. This is one that I got for my birthday or Christmas a couple of years ago. It's a really good one. Ohio is a distillery here in Central Ohio, and this is one of their small batches. This is their, let's see, Michelin Reserve, a small batch blended bourbon whiskey handcrafted in the heart of the Ohio River Valley. Ohio. It's actually very, very good. If you get a chance, drink some Ohio. You can thank me later. So, David may or may not join us. I'm not really sure what's going on. But we do have some things to cover in the news. In the news. All right, so if you guys were paying attention last week or the week before, you know that Elon Musk put in a bid to buy Twitter. Well, first of all, he decided to buy 9.2% of Twitter's stock, making him the largest single shareholder. Let's see. David, if you're watching, no, you're coming back on. You're not just going to leave comments. Join Skype, David. You're not just going to sit here and leave comments. Okay. So he says, maybe just watch you from the side. Just cheering you on. Okay. No, you're going to rejoin, David. That's what's going to happen. So basically, Elon Musk first bought 9.2% of Twitter stock, making the largest single shareholder. Yeah, David, I'm telling about the poison pill. See, you're going to rejoin us, though. Now, Twitter decided to invite Elon Musk to join their board. And at first, it sounded. Can you speak?
Oh, yeah, I see your box lighting up here. I'm here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I think you're back.
We are getting reports. We are getting reports that our telephone lines are flooded with people letting us know that we have some major problems tonight in technology. So
We had a few issues going on.
we don't know if what we can do to maybe get this thing cleared up.
So again,
But,
this isn't a William Elkins said buffering terribly. Now, William Elkins, this is actually not a bandwidth issue. This is, I believe, a Twitter. I was just talking about Twitter. This is a Skype issue, I think, because they put out this update and they keep sending out updates, and every time they update something, it gets worse. So we're gonna explore some options, and if it keeps cutting out, maybe I'll just have to turn this off and restart the whole thing. We'll keep you posted though. But David, for now, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and the funny thing is the entire time your audio was coming through just fine on Ecamm. So hopefully we'll see if, as long as everybody else can hear you, we'll be just fine. Can somebody leave in the comments down below if you can hear David or not? And if not, then we'll figure.
Can you all hear my sultry tones?
He does have sultry tones.
Hello.
All right, there's been a delay, so no answer yet. But I was just explaining the.
Yeah, it'll be a minute.
I was just explaining the poison pill from Twitter to all of the folks at home. So, continuing on, Elon Musk decided he wouldn't join the board of Twitter because obviously he wanted to buy more than 14.9% of the stock. As most of you know by now, he put out a bid to buy all of the Twitter stock, like all of it, for about $43 billion, billion with a B, in cash out of his own pocket. Like, that's insane amount of money in cash, okay? And he was actually going to pay, at the time, an all-time high for Twitter stock. I think it was like $9 above the market value of the stock, of the shares of stock. So he was actually going to pay more than it was actually worth. And Twitter, being Twitter, decided that they didn't want Elon Musk owning the stock, so they implemented what is called in the corporate world a poison pill. A poison pill, in this case, is essentially, it slightly dilutes the stock, but it also allows all current shareholders to buy more stock, up to 15% in total, at a discounted rate. So, what this is intended to do is to make buying more than 15%, it's supposed to discourage people from wanting to buy more than 15%, because also, to buy more than that 15%, you need to negotiate that purchase with the board of directors. So they were hoping this would at least buy them some time to find a competitor against Elon Musk, somebody else who really wanted to buy the stock. So, here's what you need to know about this poison pill, though. Basically, for most people, it would bankrupt them trying to buy more than that 15%. Made of money, and I don't think he minds paying a little bit more to prove his point. I think at this point it might be an ego thing. So, what this does allow him to do, though, is to buy.
I'm not going to go with ego. I'm going to counterpoint you there, Wes. I'm going to counterpoint you, and I'm going to say I don't think it's ego. I think it's principle.
Well, yeah, look,
might be a fine line to some, but I think it's principle more than ego.
I'd say a little bit of both. But essentially, I don't think it's going to stop him.
He has been a huge advocate and very vocal about the freedom of speech and the freedom of expression.
That's true.
And that's what his platform is based on.
Well, and
for the purchase and revamp of the broken thing that is Twitter.
But also, don't get me wrong. When I say ego, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, he's put his name behind something, and he's just stubborn enough to be a dog with a bone on this. I think he's not going to let this one go. When I say ego, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, he's put his name behind it, and he's going to keep moving forward, come hell or high water. He is a free speech absolutist, as he's actually called himself, which means he won't block anybody Like, he doesn't want to block anybody for any reason. Now, take that how you will, this political side or that, that's neither here nor there. But what this allows him to do is, it allows him to buy more stock, up to 15% in total, which I don't think, since at 9.2%, he was already the largest single shareholder, I don't think there's anybody else who's going to buy up to that 15% in total. I'll bet you he already has by now reached that 15% max. And his offer still stands to buy all of the Twitter stock at the higher rate, which is even more a bigger difference now, because they've actually discounted the stock for existing shareholders, right? So here's the thing. To buy more than the 15% of that stock, Elon Musk must negotiate the purchase with the board of directors. That's known because of the poison pill. However, directors turns down his offer to buy all of the implications here. One is that the board will not be fulfilling their fiduciary duty to the shareholders.